Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, hey everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, where it is ActionX's show where we talk about all things television, whether that is reviewing episode by episode of a TV show, reviewing every season of a TV show, or reviewing a whole series as a whole, or even just doing a quick impression, which is what I'm doing right now. If you are unaware by my opening bit slash the title, this is our King of the Hill one. Kind of a weird way to kind of intro that. Anyway, yeah, so I'm talking about King of the Hill. I've been kind of... this was not on the schedule, by the way. This is a more recent binge because... I don't know. So here's the weird thing if you don't know anything about me, if this is your first time watching me. I'm currently doing some other review series for Arrow and Doctor Who, but those kind of have been a little bit sidetracked since busyness around the holidays, as well as my co-host on each one of those is more busier, again, during this time period, so it's been more difficult to plan out recording, so I've been doing some more binging as of late because of that, since, again, so if you don't know, I don't tend to go forward in shows until I review them, so I'm currently at a stalemate with those products, so I can't continue them as is, so I was kind of in the mood to watch something, and I was on Hulu, and I was very much looking for something very non-story driven, because I usually sit down to eat dinner sometimes late by myself, so I needed a show to kind of like get my mind off things. I didn't want to continue other stories driven shows because my brain is usually tired by that time period, if you know what I mean. A lot of people probably have had those experiences, and so that was me on that case. And then so when it came to King of the Hill, I haven't watched this show in forever. Here's the thing, even though this is an adult animated sitcom, it really doesn't feel like an adult one. This kind of feels like more like for kids. Okay, it's not really for kids, but like it's so weird on how it's portrayed, since it reminds me a lot of Bob's Burgers, or it's not Family Guy, it's not Simpsons, it's not those shows where those were really designed to go all out on the whole TV maturity content, if you know what I mean. In terms of like, this was all part of Fox's animation domination lineup, where I think when King of the Hill was airing, it was Family Guy, it was Simpsons, it was American Dad. So those shows were really more heavily themed on adult comedy. King of the Hill was not that. And I think that was kind of like the draw to me, because I believe I started watching King of the Hill going backwards, I want to say around '09, so around the time the show was wrapping up. Because the Cleveland show took over its slot, so it got canceled because of that. So when King of the Hill was kind of running to an end is when I started watching the show. It was on Adult Swim a lot. This was kind of the age period where I was kind of like starting to figure out more stuff on the television screen than I'm usually aware of. So for me, King of the Hill came on, and I watched it, and for some reason it had a charm to it. Like I said before, it's not your Family Guy, it's not your Simpsons, it's not any of those shows. It's something unique and different, and I feel like that's a thing that kind of would turn off some people, because they want to hear, they just want to hear jokes. They want to hear, very something more simplistic, something more direct to the punch. King of the Hill it takes time, and it takes, its patience in telling its jokes, and sometimes they even deliver a damn good story for the episode, and then the jokes come into May. I don't know. Again, if you're unaware, comedy is very subjective. Not everyone's gonna have the same universal comedy style, or they're not gonna react to the same jokes the same way as you would. Everyone's different. I've met some people who are not fans of King of the Hill, and I have met people who have fans who love King of the Hill. I met both of them. And I understood their reasonings for why, because some of them just can't get into it, and then some of them said, no, I love the show because of X, Y, and Z, or as I'm about to get to, is because I'm just dragging this in prelude long enough. So for me, I like the characters, and if you are, again, unaware of me, for me, the thing that I mostly appreciate on any show, and usually it's the shining thing that kind of comes through on any television show I watch, it's the characters. The characters have to be interesting, they have to be charismatic, they have to have something addicting that you would want to watch them every week or watch the next episode, and you just keep going on there. And I feel like every character they've introduced on well, okay, let's say 95% of the characters that they introduce in King of the Hill, they have a charm to them, they have a personality to them, they have their sort of own unique take on things, and when you get to see that, and you just sort of get attached to them, and you just want to keep seeing them for whether that is your Hank Hill, whether that is your Bill Tree, whether that is your secondary characters like Buck Strickland, or the one-off characters such as Lenore or Reverend Strooper, characters like those. You know, there's a whole like King of the Hill has so many characters that every one of them gets to shine through at some point in the series. And the thing is, this show's gone on for 13 seasons. That's a pretty decent number. Okay, a lot of shows don't get to make it to the double digit, let alone this show, and I'm very impressed by it. So to go back to it, I basically was a loyal fan of it. Whenever King of the Hill was on, I would try. And this was before the age of streaming and, you know, having easy access to this stuff. Way before those time periods, it would be go on Adult Swim, find a block of, you know, King of the Hill episodes and just watch it, the whole thing. Because that was my only way of watching it. I didn't have the DVDs at that point because I think the DVDs were just starting to come out, so it wasn't that attainable to get. Also, the fact that was I didn't have a DVR, or there was no easy way to watch it. So it was the old-fashioned way of hoping you're on your TV when the episode's on. That was the old-fashioned method. And I binged. I know I didn't binge all the episodes at the time period. I binged most of it because around that time period, I think that's when by the time I was kind of getting wrapped up with the series, is around the time the Adult Swim was getting the series finale, which had already aired on Fox the previous May, and then we were getting those extra syndication episodes, which were, if you don't know what I'm talking about. So when King of the Hill ended, there were still 4 episodes they produced in the last production cycle, but because Fox has a very strict, we can only air this amount of episodes during this television season, and then since they weren't going to pick it up for more episodes, they said screw it. Like, okay, Adult Swim just bought the episodes, and those were kind of like never before seen, first time look, only on Adult Swim, and I definitely had to catch up to watch them, and that was it. And I don't think I've ever binged King of the Hill after that. It wasn't a while until I got back into it, which was I think I did binge it one time in between then and now, or then and recently, and then when it was like more recently, I definitely remember that the earlier seasons were very hard to get into. I feel like you could watch a few episodes of the first season, and then you kind of have this understanding of what the characters are, to when you eventually can go into like a couple more later seasons, and then you can start to really see the charm of the show. So for me, I vaguely remember the first season. I vaguely do. Those were morally setting up the characters. You got Hank Hill, who's your average Texas citizen who very much is an old-fashioned type of dude. He, you know, has a very sense of moral, what people should be, the gender roles. Like that was a very different time period, the 90s. And he definitely was a representation of that. And then you have his wife, Peggy, who at first was very a sane, kind of stuck up substitute teacher. Their son Bobby, who's kind of like, you're kind of debating like, wait, is this really their son? And for me, I was like thinking for a while, like, how does a kid have blonde hair from 2 parents who have brown hair? I mean, I know, I get that everyone's different in terms of like what you inherit when your parents conceive of you, but that was kind of weird in my books. And then you slowly start to get introduced to the other character, Hank's trio of friends, Boomhauer, Dale, Bill, his work environment, Strickland. We eventually get to see the Tom Landry School, Bobby's friends. Sometimes we'll get into Peggy's world, dabble in that a little bit, and then you just start seeing the roster characters. And I feel like for me, the show didn't really start picking up until season 2, when I started to realize this show was kind of unique at the time period, since it could just be the old times of adult comedy sitcoms, where they can do whatever. They actually followed a sense of time, which you don't understand for most animated shows. time is something like it's out the window. The time doesn't matter. Every episode is kind of its own thing. Sometimes they connect, sometimes they don't. That's kind of how they approach things. So for King of the Hill, I think the earlier season, I think the first 4, 5, or 6, they actually had a legit timeline. You know, characters were aging up. You got to actually see character growth, development, events happen. Again, if you're unaware, this is a quick impression, so I'm not trying to spoil anything of the show. So I'm being very vague on this. But there's certain events on almost on every series finale or every season finale, and there are like big event episodes where it's like, hot damn, they did this, they did that, and it actually made an impact. That actually is never seen. I've never seen that before in that sphere at the time. Now I think a couple more shows have done that, but for me at that time period, that was like the first of something. I just never seen that before. So then we got into. I'll mention a couple of episodes to kind of like, and this was like very early on. I remember one of the Thanksgiving episodes, the one in the airport. That was kind of real. That was a really good one. That was a really fun one. Just seeing how things just don't go wrong. You should never spend your Thanksgiving in an airport. This is why I never travel during the holidays. Like, I am home if people are around me and they want to hang out during holidays. That's fine. I am not traveling for anyone. And that episode freaking proves it. There was a Bill episode early on. If you don't know Bill Dauterive, he's one of them. He's like kind of like the outcast or the kind of like the lower tier friend of the core 4 of Hank's friends. He very much is the butt of every joke. And then there was one specific episode I remember where he kind of cracks. And that's another thing that I have to give credit for the show. They've tackled a lot of subjects. They tackled suicide. They tackled bombings. They tackled the veterans PTSD or PTSD. They tackled a lot of topics in the span of like the earlier season before they started to get a little bit more like your average adult comedy series, which is kind of like where I start to like my interest started to wane. But the episode that really stuck out of my mind in the original, I'll call it the original seasons, but when the creators were like really directly involved and then they kind of left as soon as the show started becoming more samey. There's like, it's a machine by this point. They could still produce a similar quality of episodes without the same team, if you know what I mean. The one episode I remember was, and again, this is another subject of time in the show, is Bobby's 13th birthday. And that episode, there was a moment from it, I was flabbergasted as a kid. I was like, what the hell? Because I was the one good thing about Adult Swim, they were going in order of episodes. So when we kind of got to that moment, it was like, oh, damn. Like, damn. I don't want to say more than that. But then the show progressed and it kind of got like, yeah, samey. I can't even remember a lot of the middle episode. But then for some reason, the last seasons of episodes, quality started going up. And then I found out the creators actually did come back to like kind of like put more of their hands behind the wheels sort of thing. And tea's getting warm. I'm going to heat up another cup later. I was actually surprised. I was like, damn, these episodes are getting fucking good again. There was an episode where, and there's a lot of like there was the, actually the one middle episode, the middle portion of the show that I remember is the Harmonaholics. And oh my god, that episode made me laugh so many damn times. And then when we got to later on in the season, they actually made an episode where they kind of insulted Canada in a way. Kind of. Canada's pretty cool. I'll give them that. They're pretty cool. They're pretty chill. Never been to Canada. Hopefully one day in the future I'll get to go. And then there was the Bill's Barbecue episode. There was the one where MySpace apparently was the focus on it. There was a video game centric episode. Like, there's a lot. I'm starting to remember more of the the last seasons, because that's when the quality started to dip up. Well, went up. And then the last episode of the show, it didn't feel like a finale. And that's the weird thing when you do stuff like that. That felt like more like a new chapter, so to speak, or things could be different. But I don't know, like the way they ended King of the Hill, I'm like, I would love to see more of these characters again, because all these characters are hilarious, funny, interesting, charming, charismatic. Like I said before, like every single character, from your Hanks to your Bills to your John Redcorns to your Buck Stricklands, Donna's, all like Joe Jack. Oh my god, I just remember in the Enrique episode, the one where he was having issues with his wife. Man, I am so scared whenever I do get married. I am so scared that I gotta put some more. I gotta put some work in. Plus, consistently go to the gym. But anyway, but yeah, but that's the thing. That's kind of like how I kept going. Where you could sort of say this about Family Guy, about American Dad, about the Cleveland Show, or even Bob's Burgers. Like the characters just are so funny enough that, like, regardless of what the premise is, you'll probably get a chuckle once in a while. And King of the Hill kind of delivers that. Like, I think more often it was majorly consistently good or great. I want to say great. Let's just firm it on great. And also the one of the last things I remember like fondly is so Hank Hill's catchphrase is I'm gonna kick your ass, or yeah, and then and he always says that, but I keep forgetting, like, did he ever kick someone's ass? And then I actually had to go on YouTube one time and like, oh my god, he did kick someone's ass, and that was like the best fucking scene of the whole show, like, or one of the best scenes, and I'm like, hands down, done, give it the Emmy. Or I think it was nominated for an Emmy. I'm pretty sure. I have to double check, but yeah, I just love the show's so awesome. I heard rumors they were thinking about doing a revival or for it to come back. I would be so game for that. I feel like this show definitely deserves another chance. Regardless if the Cleveland Show was the reason for its cancellation or the ratings, there's never been a definitive reason. But if they can bring it back, I would highly recommend it. I feel like the audience is right now for. It's gonna be weird because, again, the older format of comedy and animation has definitely changed in recent years. But I feel like it would be interesting. But I feel like it would be interesting if King of the Hill would tackle that in the more modern space, and get to see where these characters could go next. And I would be very much interested and down for a revival at some point in the future. I feel like this is a show that, like, if any animated show needs to come back, it's this one. This one really deserves it, and I will be there day one if they ever do. But I believe until then, I mean, that's it. Damn you, Cleveland Show, for kind of being responsible for canceling this. I would have loved to see more. Maybe one day I will. But if you're feeling motivated by my words and you want to go watch King of the Hill, it's on Hulu. I think no, because I was gonna tie into like a recent event, but it's probably gonna be out by the time this episode review airs. So I won't say anything. So yeah, go catch King of the Hill on Hulu. I highly recommend it. It's sometimes, like, the earlier seasons are definitely some to pay attention for. Then the rest could be, you could put it as background noise. It kind of flip flops between the two depending on the episode. You want to go to? I could talk more about King of the Hill for like hours, but again, I need the right co-host, and I'm a one-man crew, so I think that's gonna do it for me, to be honest with you. But anyway, if you are unaware, this has been What's on the Tube from ActionX. If you want to know what we're doing overall on What's on the Tube, besides our quick impressions like King of the Hill, we're doing every Doctor Who series reviewed, where me and George Papandreou, or it's just George, we're reviewing every series in Doctor Who, the modern era, by the way. Next up, that's the thing, like, I'm producing these as a backup filler because I don't know when they're going to come out. I think the Series 4 review came out already. I'm really hoping it did because I really want to keep going and finish before Christmas, at least our current plan. So hopefully that's up, but at least Series 1 through 3 are already, those reviews are already live on YouTube, so you can go check them out. We're also doing every Arrow season reviewed with my co-host Sal. Again, I don't know when the Season 4 review is going to go live, so we already covered the first 3, so check that out already on our YouTube. But if you only care about Quick Impressions or King of the Hill, then, well, sadly for Quick Impressions, you'll see more of that fairly soon. As for King of the Hill, I would like to say maybe one day, but until then, nothing really much to say. But if you're a fan of me and you want to hear me talk about this, passionately about any other TV show, go subscribe to us. Go check out our entire What's on the Tube backlog. We have a ton. We have over 100 episodes by this point, so go check it out. But again, if you're unaware, this has been What's on the Tube from ActionX. If you want to see more of us, specifically these reviews, please subscribe to the channel on YouTube.com. Ring the bell for notification when our next episode is live. Like, favorite, share if you want to, but it does really help us out, get us more out there, more seen by new people to kind of keep growing, because I want to keep growing. So share and support if you want to. Oh, and follow us on Twitter to be up to date on, updates of anything of sorts. Follow us on Twitch. We're going to start streaming there soon. I keep saying that, but just keep an eye on the Twitch page. Just keep an eye on it. But I think that's going to do it for me tonight. But so again, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe out there. Be good to each other. And I'll see you guys. I'll see you everyone at some point down the line. Peace out.